So, not everybody knows the specs of their computer, and when they get asked about them, they really don't know where to figure out that information. If they didn't buy it online or they don't have the receipt or what have you, it may be a little bit difficult to know exactly what's in your computer without having to take off the side panel and pull things apart, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. So, today I'm going to show you two different ways to figure out your computer specs. What's up everyone, Caddac here, and today I'm going to show you two different ways to figure out the specifications of your computer. The first way is going to be entirely within Windows, you don't have to install anything to do so. And then the second one is going to be using one of my favorite pieces of software. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you're going to know of this piece of software because I do talk about it a lot, but we're going to go over ways that you can use that to identify parts. So first things first, let's go over doing it directly within Windows. So you're going to end up using a part of the settings called system information. So if you bring this up, information, you're going to get this page here. Now from the initial page, you're going to be able to see which version of the OS you're on. You're going to be able to see your motherboard. You're going to be able to see your processor, and you're going to be able to see how much RAM you have. This is super useful information, and this is what majority of the spec information is going to be right here. Now, if you want to know maybe your graphics card, you're going to click the components drop down. You're going to go to display. It's going to take a few seconds, and then you'll be able to figure out which graphics card you have. So I have the 1080 Ti in here. Now, there's a bunch more information here, but it's not all that useful. A lot of it won't tell you the actual names of components. If you really want to figure out your network adapter, you'd be able to figure that out here. But a lot of it is not going to be things that you need for the general purpose of knowing the specs of your computer. So on top of system information, this gives you, a little bit more intricate details. The task manager has actually really improved on what it actually tells you. And if you bring it up, you can use Control-Shift-Escape to quickly bring up the task manager. And you go to the performance tab, you can actually see the name of your CPU. You can see how much RAM you have, and you can see the name of your GPU. So this also gives you a lot of that quick information. So if those are the only things that you really want to know, bringing up the task manager is going to be the quickest way to get that. Now again, I said this one is the easiest because it's directly within Windows. You don't have to install anything. It gives you very quick and simple information if you need it. But if you do want a little bit more in-depth information, our second choice, which is using HW Info, will give you a lot more details, all within one package. Now you can use multiple programs like using CPU-Z and GPU-Z to grab different components, but HW Info does it all at once. It's really, really nice, and I'm going to show you that now. So here is the sensors window of HW Info. As you can see here, I have my 3900X. I have it to say it a couple times in different sections. I have my Asus motherboard. I have my 1080 Ti. It'll tell me about different adapters that I have. It'll tell me about all the different hard drives I have installed. But this is the section of HW Info I use the most. But there is actually a summary part of HW Info that would allow you to see all of the information. Now, if you have HW Info set to automatically go to the sensor page without going to the summary, you're going to have to do a little bit of a change here to be able to get the summary. So you can right click, go to settings. You're going to want the welcome screen. I believe if we restart the program now, we're going to be able to choose what we want to launch. Yeah. So we can have it set so that it's going to run now, and it's going to do everything. It's going to take a few seconds to determine everything that's in the computer. So give it a few seconds. Once it's done, we'll see the summary. All right, so now it is launched with both the sensors and the summary. So we're just going to focus on the summary now. So here you'll get a full system summary. This is really helpful. You can see, again, your CPU. It gives you a lot of information like code names, and it'll tell you a bunch of the minimum clocks and all that kind of stuff. You get your motherboard information again here. This is also really, really nice. You get to see your RAM, and it'll actually tell you the RAM model, which is also helpful if you need that information. And then you have your graphics card here. It'll tell you all the specs about your GPU that you would need. And then you have this page as well. So this is very similar to the Windows system information, but it's a lot more in depth. So you have your CPU, it'll tell you all the information about your CPU. You have your motherboard, it'll tell you all the specific information about your motherboard. So this is just the system information now, basically on steroids, where it's just going to give you a ton more specific information as to what you need. So it's giving us the RAM and its actual model number, all of the timings, all the information you could ever possibly want is all here. Video adapter would be your GPU. You have all of that information here. You can even get your monitor information. So mine is going through my Elgato, so it is going to be a little bit confused there. It's saying that the Elgato is the model name instead of my Dell monitor. But everything else, you have access to it. It'll tell you all of the adapters that you have here. These are all super useful. And again, if you want the most information, HW Info is going to be the way to go. Personally, it's really nice. Everything is all in one spot. And I always have my sensors open so I can just keep an eye on temperatures. And if I'm doing any kind of stress tests or kind of stuff, I do like to keep an eye on this and check it out. And yeah, HW Info is like one of my favorite programs. It's free, it's easy to use. I'll leave a link down in the description below for it, and I highly suggest you try it out. And that's it. Sorry about rambling on about HW Info. I just really love the software. It is one of the most useful pieces of software you can put on your computer, like the first time you install your computer and get it all set up. But both ways are very easy to do. System information is right there. You don't have to do anything on top of it. You don't have to install any programs. HW Info is good. I use it in my regular daily use of my computer, as well as trying to figure out certain information about it, which is super helpful. And yeah, like if somebody ever asks me for help with a computer, the first thing I usually do is throw HW Info on their computer, pull up the summary, and get basically the information about all the components, because it makes troubleshooting things a lot easier. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribed. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to leave those down below. I read them all, and I try to reply to them all as quickly as possible. As always, I stream on Twitch from Friday until Tuesday. Come check me out and say hello. Love to see you guys in there. You can ask questions there if you'd like as well, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can, as long as I'm not too sucked into whatever game I'm playing. Thanks again for watching the end of the video. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next Friday.